YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today, guys, we're gonna do the showcase for Gimmick Puppet when it comes to Master Duel this week. For those who doesn't know about Gimmick Puppet, the old strategy for Gimmick Puppet is summoning level 8s to the field and ranking them up into rank 8s. The newer supports from the Infinite Forbidden brings a new strategy into the field, and that is the FTK. The FTK is very consistent with the new supports. Now, as you might see here, we have a ton of variants for this. First, we're gonna go with the core deck list and the importance of the cards that we're gonna add into the deck, of course. So without further ado, let's start off this showcase. Alright guys, so here we are with the core deck list, and we will start off with the cards that we're basically using for the deck. So first off, we have Kettle Scream. So basically, once per turn, you can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, spell summon it to your opponent's field in defense position, but the main purpose for this is to dump this to the graveyard, and if you have an XZ monster, you can detach this. You can detach one material from that, and then you can spell summon the Cattle Scream to the field. Normal copies for this is 1 to 2 basically, but you just need one copy of this just to recurse from the graveyard back to your field. A Bisque Doll, you can spell summon this card from your hand by discarding one Gimmick Puppet monster. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Your opponent cannot target Gimmick Puppet monsters you control with card effects. That's a pretty good protection as well. And then we have the Gimmick Puppet Rouge Doll, or Bloody Doll. I think that's what it's called in the OCG or TCG. If this card is in your hand, you can reveal one Gimmick Puppet XZ monster, and then you can spell summon another Gimmick Puppet with the same level as the one you revealed. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add this back from your graveyard back to your hand. So that's a pretty good effect. With regards to the number of copies, Bisque Doll is only on 1 copy, basically. And then the Rouge Doll or the Bloody Doll is always going to be on 3 copies. This is a pretty good starter for your rank 8s. Then we have the Dreary Doll. 1 to 2 copies is enough, but I do think in a modern build for the Gimmick Puppet, just 1 copy is enough. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one other Gimmick Puppet monster from your graveyard and spell summon this card. So that's only 1 copy. Next up, we have a copy of Terror Baby, the only card that you can search out, or the only card that you want to search with a copy of your Chimera Doll. We'll talk about the Chimera Doll in a bit. But with regards to the number of copies of Terror Baby, just go with 2 copies. You basically need this because once you normal summon this, you can target one Gimmick Puppet monster in your graveyard. XZ or non-XZ, you can spell summon it to your side of the field, triggering some of the Gimmick Puppet effects as well. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Your opponent cannot activate card or effects in response to the activation of your Gimmick Puppet monsters. And then we have the Little Soldiers. So this card is the newer card from the Infinite Forbidden and one of your key cards for your combo. So if this card is normal or spell summon, you can send one Gimmick Puppet from your deck to your graveyard. That is a different level from this card. You can banish this card from the grave and target up to 2 monsters that is a Gimmick Puppet of name on the field, and you can level modulate them by increasing their levels by 4. Number of copies, always going to be on 3 copies, like the Rouge Doll. Mansion of the Dreadful Dolls, this is the newer field spell for the Gimmick Puppet. So when this card is activated, you can add one Gimmick Puppet monster from your deck to your hand. Gimmick Puppet monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle and are unaffected by activated effects of your opponents. Once per turn, you can detach one material from an XZ monster, then you can target one Gimmick Puppet monster in your graveyard. You can spell summon it to your opponent's side of the field in face-up defense position. That way, you can burn with the effect of your very own Gimmick Puppet monsters. FTK is very prominent with this deck, so these newer cards make it more consistent. Definitely a 3 offs. Your main targets for the mansion is a copy of your Little Soldiers if you don't have a copy of it on your starting hand, or you can go with a copy of Rouge Doll or Bloody Doll. And lastly, we have the new Service Puppet Play. Target monsters your opponent controls up to the number of Gimmick Puppet XZ monsters you control. Take control of those monsters until the end phase. If this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was there, and you control a Gimmick Puppet XZ monster, you can banish this card, then target one XZ monster in either graveyard, special summon it to either field in defense position. So for the extra deck, we have the newer card, CXYZ Gimmick Puppet Fanatics Mechanics. If this card is spell summon, you can add one puppet trap card from your deck to your hand. You can detach one material from this card, spell summon one monster from your graveyard to your opponent's side of the field in defense position. If a monster is spell summoned to your opponent's field, you can target one of them, destroy it, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half its original attack. Gimmick Puppet Fantastics Mechanics. You can detach one material from this card, and you can add one rank up magic spell card from your deck to your hand. Also, you can normal summon one machine monster during your main phase this turn, in addition to your normal summon. If you spell summon a Gimmick Puppet XZ monster except during the damage step, you can spell summon this card from your graveyard to either field in defense position. Then you can add one rank up spell card from your graveyard to your hand. So another form of recursion by adding the rank up spell from your grave. Now with regards to the number of copies for your extra deck, now your extra deck is very tight already. So I would advise just going with the important cards on 2 copies and the lesser one on 1 copy. So, first and foremost, we have Dark Strings, basically 2 copies. The CXYZ Gimmick Puppet Fanatics Mechanics, 2 copies definitely. 1 copy for the Giant Hunter, 2 copies for the Puppet of Strings, 2 copies for the Fantastics Mechanics, 2 copies of the Gigantic Grinder. You can work with 1. I know in Master Duel that this is a UR, so you can work with 1. It's up to you. 1 copy of Gigantic Doll, 2 copies of the Chimera Doll. So that is your core deck list, boys and girls. Let's move towards the Master Duel deck list, and I have 3 variants that you can use for Master Duel. Okay, so let's go first with our Horus deck list. Okay, here we are with the Horus variant for the Gimmick Puppet. Now, what does this deck do with the Horus? It's an easy access to a rank 8 because Horus monsters are level 8. Also, field presence is very important for Horus. As long as you have Mseti and Happy on the field, you are good. And with the King Sarcophagus, your Horus are protected from destroyed effects or non-targeted destroyed effects. Now, with regards to the monsters, we have the staples, Ash Blossoms, Maxis, Droll and Knockbird, Cold Buys, Cross Out, and Imperms. 1 board breaker, triple tactics, but overall, Gimmick Puppet itself is a board breaking deck and an FTK deck as well. The new strategy is very cool, very crazy, and I'm pretty sure after a month or so, one of these cards are going to be banned or limited because this is very, very strong. As long as you also have the field spell ready, your monsters are unaffected by activated effects. The rank up cards, there are 2 rank up cards that you're going to be using for this deck. I'll showcase to you guys 2 of them. One of which is if you're going first, the Argent Chaos of Force is the best way to go, but there is also 1 rank up card that you can use if you're going second. We'll talk about it in a bit, of course. That's pretty good. Let's move on with our next variant for the Gimmick Puppet. Okay, so for our next variant for the Gimmick Puppet, this is the Domgatika version. If you ever want a deck list for the 3 variants that I'm going to showcase to you guys now, it's going to be in the comment section, like always. So what I was saying is the Domgatika version. So this allows you to go for additional interruptions, and it is pretty good if you're going second as well. So the new Domgatika cards allows you to normal summon this, or spell summon, either way. And then you can get a copy of the Knighted, or get a copy of your Domgatika Punishment. This, of course, allows you to control the field if ever your opponent gets some significant cards on the field. And with the help of Ice Dragon's Present, allows you to banish cards on the field as well. So a pretty good card effect. This is the card that I was talking about earlier if you're going second. So this is another form of rank up spell card. I'll just skim through the whole thing. It's just basically Argent by ranking up another Exe monster on the field. Then, if any face-up card on the field, other than the monster summoned by this card, negate the effects of those other cards. Pretty good card effect as well, going second. And not only that, it controls the field if ever you want to send cards to the graveyard as well. This is one of the coolest variants that you can use with a Gimmick Puppet. So that is Gimmick Puppet Domgatika. Let's move on with another variant for the Gimmick Puppet archetype. Okay, so for our last variant for the Gimmick Puppet, we have here Horus, and with a new card, or the newer card that we got last month, I guess, the Metaltronus. Now, what this card does is target 1 face-up non-token monster on your opponent's side of the field, spell summon 1 monster from your hand, deck, or extra deck that has 2 or more of the same type, attribute, and attack, but negate its effects. So those 2 cards targeted and that card you have is targeted, it is negated. I'll showcase to you guys the replay that you can use with Metaltronus in this build. So yeah, check that one out. So that is the 3 variants that you can use with the Gimmick Puppet. I'm going to showcase to you guys some of the combos that you can do with the deck, and enjoy the combos, boys and girls. So that is it. Let's move on to our combo section of this video. Okay guys, so here we are with our combo guide. So the last one will be the Metaltronus plus the 2 Exe monsters that I showcased earlier. If you want the deck list, like I said earlier, from the decks that I've showcased, it will be in the comment section. So let's start off this combo. First combo is with the Mansion, or the 1 card starter with a Mansion. So Mansion, get a copy of Little Soldiers. Little Soldiers, normal summon to the field, gaining access to the Bloody Doll or Rouge Doll in the graveyard. Rouge Doll sent to the graveyard, added back to hand. Rouge Doll on hand, reveal, spell summon the Cattle Scream and itself. That's an easy rank 8. Now take note, we need to have the Cattle Scream in the graveyard, so it's much better to have this one as a material. So we go for the Fantastics Mechanics, detach the Cattle Scream, and gain access to our Argent Force. Now with this, Sorry. We go for the Argent, rank up into Dark Strings, and with the effect of that Cattle Scream, detach from material, spell summon itself to the field. That way, we have Puppet of Strings on the field, and with the Argent, we can gain it back. Add a string counter on Dark Strings, then use the Argent Force, summon a second copy of the Dark Strings. Upon summon, destroy all cards with a string counter, and burn your opponent. There we go. Oh yeah, then draw one card. Forgot about that. Yes, since we draw one card, we go for the effect of the Mansion. By detaching one material and then getting a copy of our Puppet of Strings to your opponent's side of the field. There we go. And with this, we go for Argent lastly. We're also summoning to a copy of our CXZ Gimmick Puppet Fanatics. Mechanics. My god, his names are very annoying. But yeah, we go summon that monster there. Gaining access to our trap card. Use the effect, detach to one. Spell summon a copy of Puppet of Strings to the field. And with that, we can go into a Link Summon. Chimera Doll. Chimera Doll get a copy of our Terror Baby. Now we have a normal summon or an extra normal summon because of the Fantastics earlier. So normal summon our Terror Baby. Getting a copy of our Cattle Scream. Banish the little soldiers and we level modulate the Terror Baby into a level 8. That way we can go into our rank 8 Giant Grinder. And this is basically it. Detach one, burn. Detach second one, and then burn. That's it. You have +1 plus a service play, and you still have room to go with an OTK. So that's basically it. Let's move on with the second combo. Okay, so this is our second combo, guys. Now, this is different because it allows you to draw 3 cards. Yes, I know. 3 cards to draw and you still work your way with the Mansion. And this burns around 8,100, I think, because the last one burns for 9,600, 9,300. I forgot. But yeah, this burns for 8,100. And so let's go. So Mansion first. Like I said, same combo until I think summoning the copy of Fantastics. But yeah, Rouge Doll to the grave, Rouge Doll added back to hand. Reveal, spell summon the Cattle Scream. Rank up again. Fantastics, gain access to the Argent. There we go, and then we target that. Go for a copy of this monster right here. Now, it would have been Dark Strings, right? But now we go for Fanatics first, and get a copy of our service play. Use the effect of Cattle Scream, detach one, go into a copy of Puppet of Strings. Puppet of Strings, use the effect, one string counter on it. Spell summon the Cattle Scream on your opponent's side of the field from the effect of the Fanatics. And then rank up the Puppet of Strings into a Dark Strings. Upon summon, destroy the monster with a string counter. So that's our first burn. And then summon a copy of Fantastics to the field, gaining access to our second copy of Argent from our graveyard. Then our first burn of 3,100, detach one, add a string counter to the cattle, then go for the Argent again, targeting our Fantastics, going into a copy of Dark Strings. Upon summon, destroy and burn, that's 2,000 burn damage. Then use the effect of the Mansion, detach one from the Dark Strings, summon a copy of our Puppet of Strings from our graveyard to your opponent's side. And take note, we already drew 2 cards from the effect of the Dark Strings, so that's pretty good. And with this, use the effect of Dark Strings, or the last Dark Strings that you summoned by the means of the Argent, to attach one string counter to it. And then we go for Chimera Doll. Get a copy of Terror Baby. And then you normal summon the Terror Baby to the field. And then what you want to do here is to gain access to our Dark Strings. Like I said, Dark Strings earlier, once spell summoned, you can destroy a card on the field or all cards on the field with string counters. So that's the burn. And that's it. So that's basically our second combo plus 3 cards on hand or plus 3 draws and a service play. Let's move on to the third combo. Okay, so here we are with our third combo. And what will happen if we don't have our Mansion? You only have a little soldier on hand. It's still pretty good. And you need to have a level 8 for this, of course, to work. Most importantly, if you have a copy of Rouge Doll on hand, you basically have full combo still. So, let's go with this. Normal summon that, dumping a copy of Dreary Doll, I think. Dreary Doll to the graveyard. Since we have this card on hand, we need to just reveal it, spell summon to the field. And the Candle Scream. There we go. And with that, go for Fantastics. Get a copy of Argent. Rank up into a copy of Fanatics. Get a copy of Service Play. Cattle detach, spell summon itself. Go for a Puppet of Strings. And Argent will be back to our hand. Detach, add 1 string counter. Go for Dark Strings from the Argent. Destroy the monster, draw 1 card, and use the effect of the Rouge Doll from our graveyard back to our hand because this wasn't sent to the graveyard earlier. So take note of that one and use that effect. We can use this one later on as well. Banish 1 card. You spell summon the Dreary Doll to the field, linking into a copy of Chimera Doll. Chimera Doll, get a copy of Terra Baby. And then once we use the effect of Chimera Doll, we can spell summon 1 monster from our hand or 1 additional monster to our hand. So take note, please only summon the Rouge Doll here, not the Terra Baby, because this is a normal summon effect only. So there we go, spell summon the Rouge Doll. Normal summon our very own Terra Baby. Terra Baby, get a copy of our Puppet of Strings. And upon summon, you get a copy of the Fantastics to your opponent's side. And then gaining access to the Argent card from our graveyard. With that, go for Argent. Spell summon the copy of Fanatics. Spell summoning a copy of Dark Strings to your opponent's side of the field. And with this, we can banish the little soldiers, target the level 4 into level 8. And then we rank up into our dark or a giant grinder. And then detach 2 cards. First burn 1,500. Second burn 3,300. That's it. Now, why is he alive? Well, first and foremost, he will be dead by the next turn if ever your opponent summons a monster that is more than 200 attack. Or spell summons more than 200 attack. Because of Fanatics. And that is basically our third combo. Let's move on with our final combo with the Metaltronus. Okay, so here we are with our Metaltronus combo. All we need is just a combi of Metaltronus or the Auto Win capability of Gimmick Puppet. So let's start. Go for the little soldier. Little soldier is always going to be your starter, guys. So there we go. Bloody Doll or Rouge Doll in the graveyard. Rouge will be added back. Reveal, spell summon. And Candle Scream. Go for Fantastics. Get a copy of Argent. Argent will be activated. Go for Fanatics. Fanatics, gain access to the trap card. And then gain access to the Candle Scream. Go for a Puppet of Strings. Argent will be back on hand. Use the effect. Detach, add a string counter. Spell summon the cattle to your opponent's side of the field. Go for Argent. Spell summon the Dark Strings. Upon summon, destroy the monster. And then we go for a copy of Fanatics or Fantastics. And adding a copy of Argent back from our graveyard. Destroy the monster, go for Dark Strings, add a counter on Cattle. Then we go into a copy of Chimera Doll from the 2 monsters there. Terra Baby on hand. Then we normal summon Terra Baby. So when you summon the copy of Terra Baby, you get a copy of Dark Strings to our field. Just to pop this card. And then you can use the effect of Metaltronus. Target a copy of Candle Scream and then summon a copy of Puppet of Leo to the field. So there we go. Dark Strings, upon summon, destroy the monster, +1. Go for Argent again, or for the last time. Go into, lastly, a copy of Disaster Leo. At this point, detach 1 material, burn for 1,000, and look at his life points right there. It's 1,900, and all you need to do is just end the turn. That's it. An auto win condition for the Gimmick Puppet. During the end phase, if your opponent's life points are 2,000 or less, and this card has no materials, you can win the duel. Auto win, you don't have to interact with your opponent by next turn. You don't even have to pass the turn to your opponent. So that is the effect of Metaltronus, but honestly, that is a UR. And I think this is a SR, and then the Puppet of Leo is a UR. So yeah, I don't know if you want to craft that one just for the FTK, but even so, very good with a Gimmick Puppet. It's very consistent enough with doing the FTK. Tell me your thoughts with the new Gimmick Puppet cards, and hopefully this guide made it a little bit more helpful for you guys. Pros with this deck, more consistent with the FTK, and then summoning a ton of monsters to the field. you have to work with, or you have to deal with cards like Dimensional Barrier that doesn't allow you to exi summon. And lastly, prominent hand traps that can defeat you is Draw, Lockbird, Shifter, Imperm, and Bishos. Shifter is not anymore a big issue because by the next ban list or by the next selection pack, we only have one. Anyways, that is basically our combos, guides, and our deck list for today, guys. It's a long video, but hopefully it will help you guys use the Gimmick Puppet to your full advantage. Anyways, that's it for today, guys. Keep safe, good luck. Hopefully my voice will be okay in the next video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Like and subscribe. See you guys later. Goodbye.